Hi guys, today we are back reading Icebreaker, a #1 New York Times bestseller by Hannah Grace, chapter 12. Um, we read chapter 11 and now we're on chapter 12, if that wasn't obvious. Just a disclaimer, sorry for my voice, I'm kind of sick. And chapter 12, Nathan. There's nothing like winning the first home game of the season to put you in great fucking mood. We played phenomenally. It felt good to get back out there with my guys and lead them to victory. Even Faulkner was happy, and he's never happy, so he must have played well, and he know as well as I know he did. We are all desperate to prove to him, despite the bullshit of the last few weeks, that we all deserve a spot on this team. Coach and Robbie immediately had us sit around the table, analyzing the game while it was fresh in our heads. That's the bit I usually hate, especially after a win, when I want to celebrate with the beer 10. The adrenaline pumping around my body doesn't want to revisit every pass and score while confined to a room. That's how guys felt the moment they took a seat. I could tell by their tapping and shuffling and compliance with every word from Coach's mouth. For once, I was perfectly calm. I didn't want to make mistakes this year. Every move must be perfect. Robbie wanted to wrap things up early, his eyes floating to his smartwatch every time it lit up. I knew Lola was somewhere in the building, proudly wearing the jersey I sent her. Post-game nights out have always been a creme de la creme of nights out. We start a party on a frat, not my favorite place to be. But since half the team isn't 21, we can't go to a club. It's nice to have a few drinks together before we part ways for the night. Then we head to the honeypot, which is, in my humble opinion, the best club in West Hollywood. B, Summer's her teammate, and the worst drink mixer ever, works there and arranges tables for us. Now that Henry lives with us, B made secret arrangement with me to let him in without carding him, since he isn't 21. I had to promise never to tell anyone so she didn't end up with half the UCMH on her doorstep, and in return, I get her, Summer, and Cammy the best seats for our home games. It's an easy promise to keep, because if the rest of the team knew I were pulling strings for Henry, I'd never know peace again. Within minutes of our arrival, the booth was covered in bottles, and unsurprisingly, several drinks in, half the team is wasted. JJ and Robbie are having what looks like a very intense heart-to-heart, full of backslapping and digging each other in the arm affectionately. They keep tapping their drinks together to cheers, although I have no idea what they're celebrating. Joe and Chris are watching Henry like he's Discovery Channel, desperately trying to learn his ways. Bobby, Maddie, and some of the other guys have disappeared to make friends with the bachelorette party on the other side of the dance floor. JJ and Robbie finally break apart to look over at me as I continue to people watch while sipping on my drink. JJ laughs, nodding in the direction of where Anastasia and Lola are dancing. You fucked it with her already? Probably. I don't bother mentioning my plan to win her over and how surprised she looked when I stepped around her earlier, leaving her with my friends. From now on, she's going to come home. It's been hours, and all I can think about is smooth, tan, glowy skin. She's in a lilac dress, which is so fucking tight, melting over every inch of her so perfectly it looks like a second skin. Okay. Aw. I don't know if I should say aw. Okay. It plunges between her breasts, and that's where my ability to describe what she's wearing ends, because as soon as my eyes travel over the strained material covering her tits, all the blood in my body rushes to my dick. Okay, well that went from aw to ew. Like, you're so lustful. Just go talk to her, bro. Her light brown hair is wavy, flowing down her back just above the curve of her ass. And that ass I know feels fucking amazing. She rolls her hips in time to the beat, smiling and bringing the drink in her hand to her mouth. The song finally merges into the next one. I see her tap low and point in the direction of the booth, meaning I can finally stop watching her like a freaking creep. I would have joined her on the dancing, but I didn't want to be the guy who gets in a woman's space when she's trying to have a good time with her friends. I've got to stick to the plan and not get sidetracked. Not to mention, I can't dance. When the guys realized most of the bachelorette party were married, they retreated to the booth with their tails between their legs, and now the bottles are emptying much quicker. Lola bursts into the booth, cheeks flushed and drunk, soppy smile on her face. She looks at Robbie like he's the best thing she'd ever seen in her life, lunging forward to press her mouth against him, dropping herself into his lap. He runs his hand up and down her chin gently, muttering something to make her bury her head into his neck. Anastasia's right behind her, and she's even more beautiful close up. Her eyes scan the booth, looking for a spot to sit, scowling when she finds it full of 200-pound hockey players. But then her eyes land on me. She shamelessly checks me out. Her teeth sink into her bottom lip, fingers tapping on the glass in her hands as she scans the booth one more time. I'm about to tell her to sit with me, but she bends over whispering into JJ's ear. I shoot Chris a glare that she tells him I will fucking kill him after I catch him patting Maddie's chest to get his attention, then pointing in her direction. Her dress hardly covers her ass. I'm about 1.1 seconds away from covering her with my jacket. Standing up straight, laughing at whatever Jaden said, she tucks her hair behind her ears, casting a look over her shoulders. JJ spreads his legs wide, letting her step between them and sit on his knee. Girl, you're being passed around. Her arm circles his neck, and I'm surprised the glass in my hand doesn't shatter, that I'm gripping it so tight. Fuck the plan. The jealousy is suffocating me. I throw the rest of my drink, letting the cold liquor soothe the burning in my chest. I'm on my feet and brushing past the legs of my teammate before I even have time to consider the reckless, drunken display of envy. She's either trying to get under my skin or she doesn't give a fuck about me, but either way, she's reaching distance from me. I bend down, my mouth millimeters from her ear. Dance with me? Hate spreads through my body when she stutters because I love how she reacts to me. I move back, giving her room to stand in. Instead, she looks over her shoulder, tongue flicking out her wet bottom lip, blue eyes glossy, staring up at me. We can make that happen, just ask me nicely. Bro, she's not a girl's girl. She's not. She's really not. I don't like her. She grins as a shocked laugh rumbles in my throat. I hold out my hand, which she links with hers, letting me tug her to her feet. I know the team's watching us like a soap opera, but I don't give a shit. Her body molds to mine, face much closer, with 5 inches added to her height by her stilettos. I'm sure they're heels that leave red marks on my back, and when my dick twitches, I realize now isn't the time to remember that. Bro, can't y'all just have a moment without making it about sex? This is me asking you very nicely. Will you dance with me? Only because you won today. She shoots back a mischievous glint in her eyes. She takes our joined hands and rests them right above her swell ass, navigating us through the crowd of the dance floor. I don't even know how to freaking dance. I just know I want to feel of her body on mine. And if I had to watch her touching JJ for 1 minute longer, I was going to rip his head from his body. We reach the middle of the dance floor where the lights are flashing, but she keeps going, dragging me through the drunk, sloppy clubgoers of an area to the dance floor where the lights don't quite reach. Our audience will have to find someone else to watch. Despite all the alcohol flowing through my bloodstream, right now I'm painfully aware of the feel of her body pressing against mine. I don't know how to dance. I'll show you. The song changes to something slower, darker, dirtier. Her body turns in my arms, ass pressed up against me so tightly there isn't any space between us. Her head falls back onto my shoulders, and she drags my hands down her body until my fingers are digging into her lips. Oh, hips. Hips. I was getting ready to say what lips. Okay. Hips. It's hips. Rocking us side to side, the music, her ass rolls and grinds until I'm so painfully hard there's no fucking way she can't feel it. My head falls to her shoulders, immediately inhaling her sweet scent. You're fucking killing me, Stas, I groan into her neck. Her hands reach behind until they're linked behind my head. When I look down to her body, I can see stiff peaks of her nipples protruding through her flimsy material of her dress. I wish we weren't in a crowded nightclub. I wish we were home so I could roll her nipples between my fingers or dip my hand between her thighs. Okay. Hopefully, finding her wearing no underwear again, I'm practically panting. Heart hammering, body on fire. I didn't think I could feel better after today's win. But hearing Stassi's satisfied sighs as I run my hands over her waist, whispering how fucking good her body feels against mine to her ear, is definitely better. You guys are freaky. In a nightclub? Is that what they do in nightclubs? I'm acting like I've never had a woman rub up against me before. Like I haven't been a guy in a dark corner of a nightclub with a beautiful girl in his arms. Still, Anastasia's attention feels like a reward. The song ends and she unwinds her body from mine. When she turns around, her cheeks are flushed red, chest heaving, skin shimmering. I run my finger across her cheekbone, feeling the heat sear my finger, and watch her eyes widen as they lock with mine. My hand cups to the side of her throat, fingers gripping the back of her neck, thumb rubbing against her erratic pulse. I'm addicted to her when she's like this, when she forgets about the game we're playing, with her eyes drink me in, and her hands grip the front of my shirt like she's scared I'm going to slip away. Our faces dangerously close. I feel breath against my lips. Hey, lovebirds, you two ready to go? Lil shouts from behind me. My forehead falls against Stassi's, the regret of not seizing the moment hanging in the air. She releases my shirt, stepping backwards, fingers tapping against her lips. Yeah, let's go. If feeling Anastasia's body grinding against mine in the nightclub is my reward, having her sit in my lap in the Uber on the way home is my punishment. I slipped our Uber driver an extra $50 to let the girls get in with us. Otherwise, we would have to get another ride for only 2 people. Henry and Bobby are on the front bench with the driver. JJ, Chris, and Robbie are in the middle row with Lola across them. I'm in the back seat with Stas on my knee. She wanted to sit on Henry's knee, but he politely said no. Bro, she is such a pygmy. You literally just grinded with a guy in a nightclub and you want to sit on another guy's knee? Like, I actually hate Anastasia so much, it's like not even funny. So now she's wiggling about, leaning forward to talk to Lola in the row in front of us. I'm stuck looking at the way her waist slopes in from her ass, trying not to think about how well my hands would fit there if I wasn't. Never mind. Okay. Well, he's freaky and she's taking advantage of it, so. Stassi, you need to lean back. You need to let me put this seat belt around you, I say softly, pulling her shoulders back slowly. She doesn't fight me. She leans back against my chest and lets me pull the seatbelt across her. I don't know where to put my hands, so they're gripping the seat in an attempt to not make this more challenging than it already has. What are you doing? She asks, head tilting upward. Her nose is brushing the underside of my jaw. What do you mean? Even though the car's full of others shouting and laughing, for some reason we're whispering. She nudges me against with her nose. You're not touching me. Her hands grip my forearms as she travels down to where my fingers are digging into the seat, pulling them away and wrapping them around her body instead. An evil giggle slips from her lips. Your heart, bro. Okay. I can't even stop an embarrassing groan that seeps out. Yeah, my dick's having a hard time realizing the wriggling around you're doing isn't for a benefit. Okay. I don't like her. I don't like her at all. If it's even possible, she relaxes her body further into mine and intertwines our hands, placing them both in a comfortable position on her thighs. This feels manageable. No wiggling, no squirming. I can't get back to Maple Hills like this. Hands holding and relaxed bodies. Nice. Nothing to stress about. If it makes you feel any less embarrassed, she whispers, moving our right hands along to her inner thigh. I can feel the heat radiating from between her legs. I'm not reading the next part. Widening her knees, she moves our joined hands closer, and I'm not okay. Yeah, you know what? That's the end of chapter 12 of Icebreaker. I'm just gonna end it there. Make sure to subscribe for chapter 13. Yeah. Okay. Bye.